So a lot of people think that you have to agree about everything when you're in a relationship. You don't, because if you did, you would die. Because it's just impossible. You can't. You're always going to have different preferences. You're always going to have different ideas.
I know it hurts. I'm sorry. This is not your fault. All right, you came to the right place, you ding dong. It's called communication, baby.
Welcome to The Crunch, the only podcast that will pimp your ride. It's your boy, Ethan.
And I'm Patrick, and this is
welcome,
a special edition. What?
I was going to welcome our guest, Exhibit. Thanks, Exhibit, for coming on the show. Hey, Exhibit. Thank you.
Is it? Hi, Ethan. I don't know. I didn't.
We should do
right,
one of these days. We should do a fake intro for the podcast, like the intro to Pimp My Ride, where Exhibit is like flashing at all the different parts of the screen. You ever see that on MTV? Anyway,
I think I did. I didn't watch MTV because I was born too late for MTV to be something that was hip and rebellious.
Yes,
you know?
and born just in time for EWTN to be cool and rad, and so you
born just in time for MTV to be just ridiculousness reruns.
Yeah, that's fair. I was born just in time for Cartoon Network to be good and not like weird.
How surprising. How crazy is it that just so the New York Cartoon Network was good exactly when you were in its target demographic?
Can I tell you something? I do think that there is a very clear delineation. Once you get to like Adventure Time onwards, there's a very obvious shift in the vibe of Cartoon Network. Okay?
I think that's accurate.
I'm not wrong about that.
Cartoon Network was before Adventure Time. Cartoon Network was not my thing, but after Adventure Time, Cartoon Network was unpalatable to me. I just couldn't even stomach it. It was just so cringe.
Yeah.
I was never a Cartoon Network kid.
Really, I was briefly, because there was. I mean, they get Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, great show. Codename Kids Next Door, which we talked about on last week's episode or last Sunday's episode, great show. There's a lot of good stuff. Nickelodeon, on the other hand, I think I missed the heyday. I think it's fair to say.
You think so?
Yeah, because we just got a bunch of like live action stuff, and SpongeBob season 55, was what I had when I was a kid. I'm the biggest Drake and Josh defender on this podcast. One day, you and me, we're gonna do every week watch along of Drake and Josh on Patreon.
That'd be crazy.
That would be well if you support.
We should do it every week. 1 week without context. We should drop like an episode of us watching an episode of Drake and Josh and commenting as if we were part of the cast and crew, as if it's a watch along podcast.
Oh, that would be so funny.
Come on, that'd be really funny. And then it's like, oh, that's my scene. Oh, look, that's the back of my head. Like we're two extras on Drake and Josh talking about. Drake did so good in this scene. I was talking to him the other day about it.
Mm-hmm. People don't know this, but Drake actually broke his hand when he punched that guy in this scene.
Yeah, Drake actually punched his hand. Broke his hand there.
He actually punched his hand.
What is that? What is that cliche? It's a Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah, when Aragorn kicks the helmet of the guy,
his foot.
And he broke his foot. Yeah, and everybody has to pause and say, he actually broke his foot there. I do the same thing with Mission Impossible when Tom Cruise broke his ankle. I'm like, look, he's running on a broken ankle right now. It's kind of funny. Anyway, Lord of the Rings guys.
What a dumb thing for someone who makes their money with their perfectly formed body to do.
Speaking of things that are unpalatable, Lord of the Rings guys. Can we just say this? I've started blocking anytime a Lord of the Rings account comes up on my. I love the Lord of the Rings. I love the movies. I love the books. J.R.R. Tolkien is the grandfather I never had. Both my grandfathers are still alive. But
oh man,
they just are different.
Wait, what do you mean both?
Both of my grandfathers are still alive. What do you say?
You only have two.
You only have two
great grandfathers.
Oh, yeah, you got 4 great grandfathers. But I can't handle this like something happens in the news and it's like football season, and a guy does something and someone goes, "This reminds me of the time that the gnomes from, Mordor went into the space weld." And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, the Silmarillion is not everything, Please. I don't know if
I
they're
had a really good
gnomes in
Silmarillion
Tolkien.
dunk tweet. I forget what it was, but I remember it was one of those things like Silmarillion fans are just they just come up with the most random
Mhm.
the Rings of Power saga when everyone was technically this is not what
Mhm.
happens in the book. I was just like, "Oh man, this is everything to you, isn't it?" So Lord of the Rings girls and Lord of the Rings guys are different. Like Caitlyn,
Yeah.
even though she blocked and unfollowed me on Twitter because I made fun of that one priest everybody likes. Yeah, that
Like,
happened.
recently?
No, I think it was a while ago. So
She
I don't
responds to
remember.
my
I
tweets.
I blocked a priest that I just found annoying, and he took it really personally.
Which one?
And then Caitlin was like, "I didn't know Patrick was just going around blocking people." And then now she doesn't follow me on Twitter
Say
anymore.
it and Ryan will bleep it out.
Say who?
The priest that you blocked. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "You're being annoying." Block, and I should have just hit mute because
I remember this. Okay. I'm gonna
yeah.
block him right now. In solidarity with you.
You
Block.
gotta.
And do you think I could report him too?
No, I don't think you can.
I probably won't. People will be able to put the pieces together pretty quickly.
But
All right.
anyway, yeah. Even though she's one of the good ones, right? She's like, yes, this is a thing that I really enjoy, but it's guys that are really into the Lord of the Rings do the thing that guys do when they're really into anything. They just
Yeah.
get incredibly frustrated and angry when people disagree with them.
Yeah.
Guys take ESPN Sports Center energy and they apply it to Lord of the Rings.
I think guys just take energy and apply it to whatever the thing is that they like.
Yeah.
Car guys, sports guys, book
What people
guys,
describe as
podcast
autism is
guys.
just
It's
the
just being a
default for
guy.
men.
Yeah.
Just being a dude.
Yeah, we're all on the spectrum. Not like that. Don't write in.
Not like that. Gender is a spectrum.
Last thing
The
I want to say
autism
on
spectrum.
this is bad podcasting, but the joke is too good for it to go away. But imagine telling George Bush, like, "Hey, we're bringing in the Silmarillion," and he goes, "How many is a Silmarillion?"
Okay, nice.
Anyway,
We
we're
got
done
three
with that.
Silmarillions.
Yeah.
10
So
Brazilians died. 10 Brazilian men died in a mine accident. How many is a Brazilian?
how many is a
I
Brazilian?
love it.
So what are we doing on the podcast today, Patrick? This is our Wednesday upload. It's different than our Sunday upload, which we just uploaded on Sunday.
Yes, so we used to do a dating segment at the end of every podcast. We found that people really liked it. We got way too many questions, and so now we do an episode every week.
We've kind of made it
Unfortunately,
our
much like
whole personality,
much
unfortunately.
like building an extra lane does not keep the traffic from calming, building an extra podcast has made the number of dating questions we get go way up.
Yeah, which is
So
huge for us.
it's awesome. So our keep them coming, guys. Just keep sending them if they're especially if it's just super like
Just
juicy,
juicy
just
and just
like a
ah,
burger.
I want to take a bite out of your
I
questions.
want to take a bite out of your question. So I
You.
first of all, Ben, the goat, has been cataloging all these questions. You can if you don't know how to send a question in, you can go to bit.ly/crunch discord, go to our dating corner channel and submit your question. If you do not want to submit it publicly, you can DM one of our mods, preferably Ben, because Ben has a computer in his brain like Cyborg from Teen Titans,
Mm.
except black.
Except Ben Eastman's black and Cyborg wasn't.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that scene with the clipped out scene where he's like, Cyborg's like, I just feel so different. And Beast Boy's like, why? He goes, I'm a robot. It's like very clear
I'm
the
a
episode's
robot.
about racism, but they use the robot thing to talk about the race thing. That's what shows on Cartoon Network. That's a good
It
program.
never that kind of thing never works. They do
No.
that. Someone made the point that was like every time a TV show or a movie wants to talk about race, they'll make them animals or non-human objects, and it just doesn't work because it's like, hey, if the predators are your analogy for minorities,
Yeah.
or if water and fire are your analogy for minorities, it's not gonna work out.
It's different now because they don't even do that now. Now they just have, like, the Proud Family reciting, like, slam poetry about reparations, you know? They don't even do that anymore. They just have them say it. Subtlety is
But
gone.
that was the funniest thing in the world when I saw Becky or whatever her name was, just the purple glasses and the braces doing the black power fist. I'm like, that's just so. It
Uh,
was so funny to me. I was like, who is this moving? Like, what is this
yeah.
doing?
I don't know who's into
You're
that.
Walt Disney. You have
Yeah.
35% of the studios in Hollywood are owned by you. If you can't fix it, no one can. What are you
Walt.
talking about?
You ever met a black fella named Walt?
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Oh, really?
All well, actually, no. All what really? I thought all Walts were white man.
Breaking Bad.
Walt Whitman? All right, there you
Oh,
go.
Walter White. Breaking
Walter
Bad.
White.
Walt Whitman. We'll be right back.
So yeah, we have dating questions.
We have
We're not
dating
gonna talk
questions. We're
about
going
the
to read
Proud
them now.
Family. So yeah, we have again bit.ly/crunch Discord. You can go to the dating corner question tab, submit your question for the public and the world to see. I wanted to start off with a really long one. How's that?
Oh, are you going to just read the whole thing or are you going to summarize?
No, so don't read the stuff in brackets.
Okay.
That's what I was told. So I am going to summarize.
Wonderful. Summarize the stuff in brackets? No, I'm kidding.
Summarize stuff in brackets. Hello, Ben. So it was just this Kathy, online name, sent this into the Discord. She's in the Crunchcast server and had a question for the podcast. So she can't share all of it publicly. So essentially, I want to know whether or not to get back with my ex-boyfriend.
Oh.
I'm 26. He's 35.
Ooh.
We dated for 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Annabelle's pumping the air right now.
Dang.
Sorry.
Called out from across the globe.
He also doesn't do the he's supportive of the big things, the fact that I'm in medical school, philosophy for having kids, etc. He also doesn't do the whole weaponized incompetence thing. I don't know what that means, but
I think you do know what that means. You just did it. I don't know what that means.
He's happy to take care of me regarding any task, even if it's girly.
Yeah.
Which is nice. He helped me clean, which is really sweet, etc. Okay, here's some things. Four reasons why I ended things. The four things I hate about you. 1, age gap. Oof. Sorry. I didn't know his age before our first date. I liked him enough that we kept going. It bothers my parents a bit. This is the lowest priority because I don't really care. Cool.
Great.
2, alcohol use. Not an alcoholic, but he is a heavy drinker.
Is this in the
He
public
occasionally gets
section?
defensive about it.
Is this
This is not in the public. Yeah, this is in the public.
Okay, cool. Just make sure.
He gets defensive about it. I'm not super comfortable about drinking, but it seems like a big enough lifestyle difference that it might not be a happy marriage for me. He cut down quite a bit when we were dating, but near the end, I always felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Fights.
Ooh.
During fights, he hits number 3. Fights. During fights, he hits a lot below the belt. Seems like a Pyrrhic victory is his goal.
Goodness.
Yeah,
During fights, he hits below the belt.
Me.
Goodness.
Oh yeah.
It's like good. Wow. Maybe language better next time. It got me worried. I was like, well, you should not be writing.
Metaphorically hits me a lot.
Call the police. Like, why? Help my boyfriend. Writing into a podcast. My boyfriend is hitting me.
Below the belt.
We're divorced from like reality that all we can do is write into podcasts. Just solve
what do I do?
Violence issues. Okay.
During fights, he hits below the belt.
Yeah.
It seems like a Pyrrhic victory is his goal. Nice. What precipitated the breakup was a large fight. I got over my anger at his comments pretty quickly, as per usual, but this time I just stopped feeling happy even after I forgave him. Oh dang! I wish I could read the stuff in the brackets. The fight that they got over was crazy.
Yeah, we'll read it privately on Patreon. No, I'm kidding. You can pay for access to this woman's
if you're
pain.
Kathy, if you're reading this, that is an absolutely insane thing to say to somebody. So don't worry, you're not
alone.
4, participation in toxic internet community. After the fight, I was doing a little snooping. I found out that he is pretty regularly liked and participated in incel Twitter.
Man,
Which,
I hope nobody else on this podcast is involved in those types of communities online.
the fight that they got in was very incel coded, so that makes
Okay.
sense.
Okay.
It implied certain things about a woman's ability to not to resist the advances of hunky men,
Okay. I see.
of chads, so to speak.
Chads as
I found
opposed
out
to
that he
virgins.
likes incel Twitter instead of virgins. I realized that a lot of people call any guy off right center an incel, but I'm
Mhm.
being specific when I say these people said incel in their usernames. It was a lot of Ryan, delete this. It was a lot of
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what it means either, but I want you to bleep out the F word so I can read that out loud on the podcast.
Yeah.
I now have insecurities I've never had before. He said he didn't believe in any of it and just thought it was funny. He even admitted to mostly getting into that stuff out of insecurity. And even just reading that stuff made me feel dirty. It also kind of messed me up. If apparently all women are dating for money and height, why am I not doing any of these things? Literally, just reading this stuff made me an objectively worse person.
Oh, wow.
The good things,
The good things.
the good things, he seems to genuinely make positive changes after every fight. There's a lot of people in the world who say they're going to try and get better and don't. He's actually been good for that. He's told me he'll do basically anything to salvage the relationship, which is sweet. He deleted the Twitter. He's going sober for September. I feel like a huge s-hole because he's basically doing everything I ask. And I'm
Mhm.
not taking him back anyway.
Hmm.
Also, on another level, I wonder if it would even be possible for someone like me to find someone else. It seems like these kinds of internet communities are pretty widespread now. Wanting to date someone who isn't on them is perhaps a bit unrealistic. Additionally, wanting to date someone who supports my career goals puts me out of reach of a lot of religious men, since I'll likely be away from the home affair a bit in my desired speciality, a pro life OBGYN. I don't see why that would prohibit you from that's baller.
Yeah, our OBGYN for our child is pro-life and Catholic, and she has a husband and kids and is awesome and really cool. So it's
Yeah, that
definitely
sounds
possible.
OBGYN sound like any guy who's like, unless a guy is super hardcore, like women should not work outside the home, which is just kind of a ridiculous thing. Would probably be under any guy that's like that, that's worth his salt, would recognize that OBGYN is probably a career that should be populated by
Yeah.
women.
Yeah. You're just
Anyway,
really
this question had so
involved.
much this question had so much
Context.
detail in it that
Yeah.
it when she sent it to Ben, it sent as a TXT file. So there's so much we're missing that I can't tell you.
Yeah.
But out of those, so all of these bad things, but he changes. So what do you think, Ethan?
I don't think you should go back to this guy. I think you should leave his ass on the curb and get on with your life. Because it's possible for someone like this to recover from the alcohol abuse issues, the incel issues, the hitting below the belt issues. It's possible to recover from like one of those, like in a short period of time, but like
Yeah,
to recover from all three
it's
in,
kind of a lot.
it's a
Yeah.
lot, for most people. And so I'm not saying it's not possible for him. It just probably will take longer than the amount of time that it's worth for you to wait, given that you're 26. So
Yeah.
I I'm
And
sure he's great, but
the age gap thing kind of like he's 35 and he's acting like this.
mhm.
And he's
Imagine being an
so
incel
desperate.
when you have a med school girlfriend that's 10 years younger than you. It's like this is the dream for those guys. You'd think he'd be over the moon that
Yeah.
he got like a girl in her 20s, like just from their perspective, you'd think that he would be like pleased with himself and like get away from that stuff. But like you said, it's probably just his insecurity. I think, just for the record, I'm not on incel Twitter. I was a joke.
I figured.
I think,
It would be funny for someone who like has a wife and a kid
the
in a
kid,
house to be like
right. Well, it's also weird for a guy who's seriously dating someone to be on incel Twitter. So it's just so strange. It reveals that there's a deeper issue that I don't think is
yes.
resolved just by him like stopping drinking and being nicer, which is of course what he would do if he lost the one thing that was making him feel good about himself. So that's not the position you want to be in. You're worth more than that. You're an OBGYN med student. Do I know what those letters mean? Not at all. But do I know that it's good for society? Absolutely. And so I think that you are in the right place where you need to be.
Yeah,
Like, you
this is
don't
like a
need to be
classic.
the reason that someone wakes up in the morning, like,
Yeah,
because that's what you were before. Is like you were this guy's only thing that he had going for him. And that's why he punched below the belt. Like, he was trying to
bring you down.
right. He was trying to like be
Yeah,
in control of the relationship because it's the only thing that he had control of, because he didn't have control of his alcohol, thing. He didn't have control of his insecurities about his how he viewed himself and all these things. So he just used you as like a
yeah.
way to feel in control. And that's
Okay,
not
Ryan,
good.
I'm gonna tell Ethan the context
I read it.
for the fight. Oh,
I
you
read
read
it.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
While you were
yeah,
talking.
right?
Yeah.
Come on, that's crazy.
It's messed up.
That's controlling behavior.
Yes. So
That's
should you
not
go
that's
back
not good.
with this guy?
No,
Patrick, say it with me on 3. 1, 2, 3.
no,
No.
no. Don't do it.
No. We should have a little button. We should have a little soundboard that's just like a chorus of no's that go off whenever a girl writes in and asks if she could get back with her boyfriend. Because this is
It's
almost
just
always the answer. It's no.
yeah.
Don't do it.
Sometimes we have guys who ask if they should get back with their girlfriends.
Yeah,
Sometimes the answer to that is no.
sometimes. I think you go to med school, move on, heal,
Yeah.
pray. You said that all this stuff kind of made you a worse woman. You should probably recover from that. You should probably go to confession, start going adoration, talk to a priest, process through some of these things, and just put some distance between you and this situation. He's not your responsibility. You don't have to take care of him. Like, you moving on is not going to make his life worse.
Yeah.
And if it does, it's not your fault. So you've broken up. I would say if you're going through hell, keep on going. Don't slow down. And if you're scared, don't show it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. George Strait.
Oh, okay. The philosopher.
The philosopher.
Great.
I think that's George Strait. That could be Puff Daddy.
It could be Puff Daddy for all you know. It could be Jay-Z.
Rodney Atkins.
Ah, bummer. All right. Well,
2006.
different question. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Dating corner question. Please keep anonymous. Just a paragraph, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
A guy I've had a crush on for a while. We know each other from
yes.
work. Invited me to a party he hosted. I thought maybe he might be interested in me. Yay, I love these. These are my favorite.
Let's go.
It seemed like he was very attracted or attentive to me at the
Ooh,
party, but maybe I
okay.
was reading too much into it. Most of the communication since then took place over IM at work. Nice.
I love it. I love the old ping
When he
you get
slides
the
into your
office.
Slack channel.
When he slides into
Gross.
your Microsoft Messenger app. Goodness.
Teams.
Teams. They used to have
Hey, can you
like
hop on a call real quick? For love. He
weird.
used heart reacts when messaging. Whoa!
Wow. Okay, so this guy's either gay or he likes you. Those are
I
the
hate the
only two
world we
options
live
at
in.
this point.
I hate the world we live in. He also never asked for my number.
Oh,
But he never asked for my number. I invited him to something to get to know him better and hopefully make it clear I wanted to spend more time with him. He said he'd probably come over. I'd probably come to the thing, but the answer sounded a bit non-committal. Hard to tell over messaging. Yes, that's why you don't do it.
Yep.
That event still hasn't happened, but then he invited me to another event this past weekend, so I assumed that meant he liked me, but then I got there before him, and when he arrived, he didn't come over and talk to me. Then I realized he had a girl with him. I couldn't tell if they were together until they left at the same time. It seemed odd he would invite me, then show up with another woman. He's Catholic. I'm
What?
assuming he has the best intentions, but I'm left with a lot of confusion. I want to ask him for clarity. Ethan, what is the question? What is the question that we ask when we don't know if a guy likes us, Ethan?
Are you going to ask me out or should I just move on? That's the question.
Here you go, ladies.
It's very
That's
simple.
Yep.
You can do it in any way. You can permutate it as many times as you want. But the fundamental question is, hey, are you going to ask me out or do I need to move on from this? Because I'm emotionally invested in you and it feels like you're emotionally invested in me, but you're showing up to the function with other ladies and it's making me Hulk out a bit. And I need that to be rectified.
What's going on?
Yeah, this is the classic, right? It's that question, and then it's just communication, right? This is the fundamental issue that people run into. It's like, have you considered maybe walking over to his desk at your company and saying, "Hey, Kyle, can we go on a walk?" And then saying, "Look, these are the things that have happened. This has been confusing for me for these reasons. I would like some clarity." And then just let him speak, you know?
Let him
Because
talk.
golly, because if he's not going to do it, you have to do it. And yeah, I'm so annoyed because this is all a fruit of like the stupid, men have to make the first move jalopy that has been going on for so long, that has like put these women in these situations where they feel like they can't address something if there's unclarity, because they're like, well, the man has to
Yeah.
say something first. It's like, you can make the man give you clarity and then still expect him to, ask you out, you know?
Yes.
So I would just get clarity as soon as possible, because this is untenable. This situation that you're in, you can't be DMing on Microsoft Teams all day for no
And
reason.
you can't be DMing and like the tea leaves and trying to figure out if his heart react means that
Yeah.
he likes you and wants
Uh,
you to have his babies. Like that doesn't make any sense.
the heart react is the worst invention of all time. They should have
I'm gonna
just
heart
stuck.
react my wife's text to let her know I'm ready for number 2. I'm
I'm
just
gonna
kidding.
do. I'm gonna send Emma a thumbs up right now.
Here you go, Phoebe. I'm gonna send you a thumbs up. So you're like,
Thumbs
what
up.
does it mean?
Thumbs up.
What does it mean?
Because it's like, because she just texted me about something about Peter, and it's just like, if you reply with a thumbs up, it's just like,
Now
great.
I'm gonna make it even. I'm gonna make it even more clear. Thumbs up, heart,
Yeah.
money flying away
Money flying
emoji.
away.
Yeah, because you spend a lot of money when you have a baby.
Oh, that's true.
Or should I do the Easter Island? She's
I love the Easter Island head. The Easter Island is funny because only a few people in life know what it means, and
yeah.
so it's
It means
perfect.
yes.
It means yes.
She just sent me back a question mark,
Mhm.
and I was like, you know what it
You know what it means.
means. No, I'm not gonna do that. She hates it when I do
So,
that.
unless maybe there's another way about this. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you lay a trap for him.
Mm.
Hmm.
Take a little cardboard box, prop it up on a stick,
Maybe.
put a phone with Microsoft Teams on it underneath, and when he goes, you pull the stick.
Have you thought about this? Message him something like, "Hey," message him something really scandalous. Meet me in the printer closet in 25 minutes, and
25 minutes.
just give him
I like
time.
the idea of a sustained heat for 25 minutes. Specifically.
But then what you do, and this is if you know that he's got another girl, he's messing with you, right? Or if you're just really
Yeah.
trying to humiliate him. But you set up in the closet. He opens the door, in a string activated pulley system, pulls a photograph on an old timey camera, and it goes boom, and then it prints out the photo, and it behind above the door it just says clown, and then there's just this picture of him.
No, a little mechanical arm with a whipped cream
Yeah,
flies
flies
down.
down.
A tennis ball gun shoots a red nose onto
Yeah,
his
and
nose,
then a
and then
bucket
a
that's propped
rainbow
out,
wig drops
a
out, and
rainbow wig, a bucket full of water falls and hits him, and then yeah.
the water doesn't come out. The bucket just hits him.
The bucket just hits him, falls on his head, and then you're sitting there in the hallway and you play the circus music, and it's the Afro Circus version from Madagascar 3, and then he's walking around the office like totally confused, totally depressed, and he knows exactly where he stands with you. You have achieved clarity in this moment, and I think whatever
Oh
it'll
man.
spice up the afternoon at Moderna or wherever you work.
I watched a video of, I don't know. Look, do you ever watch like videos of couples on Instagram, and you look at like your own marriage and you're like, how does he do that? Like if I did that, it would be over, you know? Like you ever see those videos?
Say that one more time. My wife was texting me.
Do you ever like look at an Instagram prank
Yeah.
couple on Instagram and you're
Uh-huh.
like, how do you do that
Yeah. Well, it's all
and
fake.
remain. Oh, sure.
It's all
Is it?
fake. That's the only
You
way.
think so?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's either they have a standing agreement, that like, hey, this is our marriage, and I'm just gonna prank you anytime, and you got to be okay with it for clicks. because this is how we afford our McMansion in Plano, Texas. Like that's the
that's it. That's
Frisco, wherever these people live, where they build the ugliest homes of all time. And this is the agreement, or it's just fake and they set it up beforehand. And these people are marginally good actors to the point where they can fool. My wife just roasted me. I said the thumbs up, and she said, I asked if Peter wanted to see everyone today, and he shook his head no. The timing was impeccable. I said, I did the thumbs up emoji, the yellow thumbs up emoji. I haven't changed it to the white skin tone. And she said, a thumbs up, ... And I said, LOL, sorry, it's a bit from the show. And then she said, to be a 55-year-old woman?
What?
Does your mom ever like text you back with just a thumbs up?
I'll tell Phoebe, sorry, it's a bit from the show.
It's a bit from the show. Yeah. So my wife owned me. I'm 55. I'm a female. Anyway, you can do that. I hope that answers your question.
I saw this guy who does water balloon hanging above the door, and when his wife walks in, he like shoots it, and it was a montage of him doing it from like trick shotting it from behind so she didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Or like he was like on his phone and he like shot it and got her, and then like, or he did one and it missed, and he goes, I missed you, and then he shoots another one and it hits her. Yeah. Very funny. Don't care if it's acting. Hilarious.
It is. It's like, how would you, the husband, have time to set up those contraptions without your wife noticing? I can't even like walk down the hallway without Emma being like, where are you going? What are you doing?
I can't even take like a moderately long poop without my wife being like,
where'd you go? Yeah. You sit down on the couch to like relax for a second. She's like, what's going on? What are you up to?
What are you up to?
Hey, I'm just sitting. I'm actually not doing anything.
We have 2 rooms in this house where I can hang out, and that's what I'm doing. I'm
hanging out. All right, next question.
Babe,
please.
It's the living room. I'm living. All right. Yo, doc, nurse, and others in the waiting room. My girlfriend and I, both 22. Age gap too big. You got to close that gap a little bit. I've been dating for a year and a half now. You have to be born on the same day. All right.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you're not born in the same lunar cycle, don't even talk to me.
I thought only girls had those. Things are going well, and based on our conversation, we could very much see a future with each other. We have.
It's funny. Sorry. You're funny.
Thanks. I'm quick on my feet. Always ready to make a period joke.
Yeah, that's crazy. Why
alienating our female listeners.
Hey, babe, I just wanted to make sure you're okay. I heard there's a blue moon coming out this week.
She just said, babe, look, a blue moon. And she looks out at just a beer hanging from a string outside the house.
Look, this week it's a super blue moon. It's a 6-pack hanging from it.
But the string isn't strong enough.
And it just falls. Yeah.
And it shatters all over. You're going to have to go clean that up.
Yeah, sorry. Hope you're not, in your lunar cycle. Anyway.
Things are going well. And based on our conversations, we could see a future with each other. We spent a long time growing and learning how to communicate with each other.
Get engaged.
When it comes to the topic of education and a family, that question seems to loom.
It's
looming. For some context, I spent my whole life in the public school system.
Mm-hmm.
I received my religious education. What's your favorite type of weed to smoke then? My favorite.
Do you prefer to brawl bare knuckle or with implements?
My favorite joke I ever made. Not my favorite joke ever. That's the embellishment. But when we were doing RA training my first year, we had to the detective from Steubenville, the Steubenville Police Department came over. The detective from the Steubenville Police Department came over. The one guy, he came over and he showed us weed. He like lit it on fire so we could smell what it smells like.
That's so funny.
Now I don't know why. I know.
Because it's Franciscan kids. They've never seen, they don't know. They wouldn't know crack if it hit them over the head.
No. This is what happened. So you could tell the difference between the homeschool kids and the public school kids and the Catholic school kids.
Yeah.
Because the homeschool kids were like, oh, so that's what weed smells like. And the public school kids were like, yeah, whatever. That's what weed smells like. And the Catholic school kids were like, that's not even the good stuff.
This is a funny joke. That's really good. Oh, man.
For some context, I spent my whole life in the public school system. I was religious education through prep, youth group, and college human center. My girlfriend, on the other hand, spent K to 12 in Catholic school. When
Mhm.
we talk about a future together, these prior experiences lead to huge blowups. To be upfront about
Mm.
my own biases, especially my taint on my view of Catholic schools, my experiences taint my view of Catholic schools.
We're 14 years old.
I switched the two words and it
I
changed the
know, it
meaning of
really
the
changed
sentence.
everything about the context of the sentence.
I come from a
Come on.
modest upbringing.
Uh-huh.
You're not if you
Clearly
don't do that.
not.
Okay,
Yeah.
you don't if you talk like that. Using those words on this. This is a family show.
We can't afford to lose our sponsorships because of you. Good listener. Golly
What's it?
gee.
They he says to be blunt later, so we're gonna make fun of that too.
Yeah.
I come from a modest upbringing of snobby arrogance that I experienced from Catholic school, which is not something I'd want my child to be
Yeah.
experiencing.
Yeah, sure.
On a more practical note, I simply think spending tens of thousands of dollars on pre-college education is stupid and insanely financially irresponsible, to be blunt.
Mm.
I would much prefer to put that money towards saving for a college education. My girlfriend, on the
Oh.
other hand, is very much Catholic school or bust. Any disagreement on the subject is an attack on her vocation as a Catholic elementary school teacher. Got it.
Woo.
That's an issue with her. She's taking things personally. That's you can't do that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not. It's anyway. She's even gone far to say it's a deal breaker if her kids can't attend Catholic school.
Holy crap.
Yowza. The integration of faith into a kid's school day is paramount in her mind. I don't know what to do. In the past, I've reassured her that we're only 22, just starting our careers. We aren't even married yet, don't have a kid. Most importantly, I love her and we'll continue to talk about it. However, where I once used to be confident in our path forward, I'm now beginning to worry about what if we don't come to a conclusion? What if this is the deal breaker? Any advice on how to discuss an emotionally charged topic would be helpful. Is the answer to simply do as I reassured her and keep talking about it, hoping an agreement is reached? For some more context, we've had this conversation 2 to 3 times now. I've grown to understand her position more than I did originally. I believe she's doing the same thing, but we both are strong in our separate beliefs towards the subject. Ethan, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a good question. This is real
This is a
real
really
life
good
stuff.
question.
This is real life
Yeah,
stuff.
that's great actually.
Most 22-year-olds are just, sleeping around and doing all kinds of stuff, and their questions are dumb. It's like, how do I sleep around less? But this is a real question. It's like, how do I educate my family? It's a
Yeah,
real
all the questions that the influencers get on Instagram. It's like, how do I stop watching porn? And it's
yeah.
like
Turn off the screen,
turn off.
bro.
How is cyberbullying even real? Just turn off the
Just turn
screen.
off the screen.
Just turn off the computer.
This is the greatest tweet. Probably it's up there with the some of Trump's tweets that Tyler the Creator tweet.
It really is.
So drill Tyler the Creator, Donald Trump, some of the OGs.
One of my best tweets is a derivation of that tweet is how is cyber warfare even real? Just turn off the computer. Because there was a big Russian cyber attack.
Yeah, how is cyber warfare real? Just shoot down the drone. Just shoot
down
it.
the drone.
Just shoot down the drone.
Ethan,
So
what do you think?
I think this is a good question. So don't overreact. So a lot of people think that you have to agree about everything when you're in a relationship. You don't, because if you did, you would die. Because it's just impossible. You can't. You're always going to have different preferences. You're always going to have different ideas. What I will say, in my experience with Emma, is that over the course of our relationship, she went from being very hesitant on homeschool to being like, now she's really excited to homeschool.
Oh,
And which is probably through a lot of different factors, because we have community, we have friends that have homeschooled. She's learned a lot more about it. She's read books, she's just like gotten more comfortable with the idea. And just having a kid changes your perspective. So I think one, there's a fine line between just waiting for her to change her mind and just like letting the relationship progress and see where you guys end up. Because if she really loves you, she should not. That's fair, not fair. If she really loves you, but like if you guys have a healthy relationship, you guys will find a way for it to work for both of you. That might mean doing what she wants, but it's not going to be just because that's what she says. It's going to be because you talk about it and you compromise. So you shouldn't freak out, because there's nothing that's really a deal breaker if you love each other, like, because love is a choice, not a like set of circumstances that are fulfilled that then provide a a perfect path forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I will say, it isn't stupid to spend money on your child's education because the public school system is getting worse. And
Yeah.
so than when we were in school, my
Right.
22-year-old friend. And
It's
so
interesting. Sorry, I shouldn't interrupt you. Go ahead.
uh good, our marriage counseling is working.
I know, I get so excited.
If you didn't interrupt me, you'd never be able to say anything. So
That's true.
yesterday my dad said, "I don't mean to interrupt." And I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I wouldn't let you if you did." But yeah, so you guys are both operating out of, you guys are both taking this personally, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
She's taking it in the, if you don't like Catholic school, that means you don't like my job, which is not true.
Mhm.
And you are taking it personally, your own experiences from your tainted view of of
Mhm.
Catholic schools. Um, that's not necessarily a universal. Now it was my experience as well. That doesn't necessarily mean it's universal. And like our view on Catholic school has changed post having kids as well, because like now we're around other people and all of our friends are considering sending their kids to this one Catholic school,
Mhm.
and they're all Leo's age. And so now the
Mhm.
conversation has shifted from
Yeah.
an imagined scenario where we're sending our own kid alone into a room full of random kids who are just as uncatechized as public school kids, just with more money, so more license. And it was like, I know how bad Catholic school can get when it comes to bullying and when it comes to like the snobbiness and like the
The
like
aforementioned weed smoking.
yeah, when we left our elementary school, my mom lost friends. Like people stopped talking to her. People thought that we just left the church because we left the school. You know, and it's very toxic. But like it's all about the circumstances. You can't
Mhm.
take a universal. It's true, Catholic schools are not in a good way right now
No.
nationally,
No.
but you can't take that and apply it to your specific situation because it's about you, and you don't know your specific situation when you go in, and you're not going to be able to. So if you're looking for clarity and like, we are going to homeschool our kids or we're going to Catholic educate our kids, you can't know that before you go
Right.
in.
Right. Especially
You can't.
you're not even engaged yet. You know?
Yeah.
Like
The
you
marriage is, you get stuck and you're stuck. And that's what God wanted. And so now you have to deal with it. And
Mhm.
that's sounds limiting, but it's actually freeing because you are able to do things now that you would not have been able to do had you not gotten stuck. Because while you can always get married later, you can't have a 60-year marriage later if you want one, you know?
I will also say, to challenge you, question asker, why is it not okay to spend thousands of dollars on high school education, but it is okay to spend thousands of dollars on secondary education? Why, or post-secondary education rather. Like
Yeah.
like why high school, like, oh, I would never spend money on high school, but college, the thing where people notoriously like party and don't really learn very much.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to do that. Like I would encourage you both to expand your minds on education and to like read some things, some modern literature on what education is. There's some great books about, how to educate young kids out there. I'm blanking on them right now, but my wife reads them. And there's great literature out there about like education in general, like reading the works of John Senior will open up your brain a little bit. And just like look critically at what's going on out there, because like think about what you really want for your family and think about what's really happening in society. Is it what's the end goal of educating children? What is it, to make them form fitted to enter the workforce? Or is it to help co-create like a fully realized virtuous human being?
Yeah.
And if like, and you have to pick the best path to do that for your family. That might be Catholic school, that might be homeschooling. It's probably not public school, but you can do, user
Which is
discretion is advised.
unfortunate. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, is unfortunate.
because yeah,
But like even the Catholics, like your
plus there are a lot
region
of
might have
you know
worse
if
Catholic schools than another region, and so to say like, oh, you have to send them to Catholic school doesn't make any sense because your Catholic schools might be run by Jesuits that are fondling kids. You know, like there's no way, or any denomination. I shouldn't just point out the Jesuits. I don't think they do that.
or
But
any
like,
denomination, as if they're a different Christian denomination, whether they're Jesuit or Baptist or Catholic, whatever.
yeah, you
Yeah,
know what
no,
I'm saying.
you're right, and also like if the money is an issue, like if your job isn't going to be in a place where you can afford to send 3 kids through Catholic school, then move to like or not move like move to a state. But if like that's a huge point for your family, then you need to make preparations for it. Like you can
Right.
talk to your wife. How are we going to afford it? Are we going to move to a state like West Virginia that gives you tax breaks if you send your kid out of the public school system, or like Florida? I think Florida's doing it too.
Oklahoma has that as well. I'm pretty sure.
That's huge.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
so like there are ways to afford a Catholic education that are not out of pocket costs.
yeah. So just think about like what are your yeah, learn some more about education. Why are you going to educate your kids? What's the point of sending kids to school, like institutional school? Because it's not something that's existed forever. Like Catholic school isn't really it's not real. You know, like it's real in that it exists
Catholic school was
now.
set up because of the public school system.
Right. Um
Yeah,
well, it's kind of the inverse
in
because
America.
there were Catholic schools before the public school system was as took over, you know, when Rockefeller invented his whole thing. Like there were Catholic religious Mother Cabrini like would go around and like found these schools to teach kids how to read and like would form them about, but it was mostly about Bible teaching, you know, like they wanted to
Yeah,
educate them in the faith. And so they founded these schools. And then that system got co-opted by the government to make everybody into factory workers. And then that's just the system that's persisted. And then Catholic school has kind of run parallel to the public school system. So it's really like, okay, but instead of factory workers, it's Catholic school is preparing you for college. And then what does college prepare you for? A job to sit at a desk in an office where you set up your office mate to be a clown, you know, in the in the closet. So it's
yeah,
just think about culture, think about society, think about where things are going. What do you want for your family? What do you want for your kids? Because if you just are blindly set on one thing, Catholic school at all costs, why? Why? And you're saying like not Catholic school at
yeah,
all costs. Why? Like and like Patrick said, it has to be a reason outside of, well, that's because it's what I want, or that's because it's connected to my, you know,
yeah,
the view of myself. Because if I don't send my kids to Catholic school, what am I doing? It's like, well, that's actually a good question. Why
yeah.
are you
Because I'm
teaching at
I'm
Catholic
I'm
school?
I'm back in the town where I had the bad experience of Catholic school,
Hmm.
and it's different now because it's 20 years later. You know, it's just it's different, and you can't you can't see into the future that far.
Hmm.
And so it would be silly to make a specific decision based on this universal because your experience is not a universal experience. So like Catholic school versus public school, well, it depends. As it turns out, the public school system in my area is not great. At least where in my area, like where I live in the county. And so it would probably make more sense for me to send my kid to a private school. Fine. But if he's with his friends, I'm much more comfortable. If he's with
Hmm.
his friends who are the kids of families who I trust and think are well formed and are raising their kids right and aren't going to give their child an iPhone 35 at 6 years old and then, let him be a jerk
The
about it.
baby.
What?
Here. Come here, buddy.
What
You
a
wanna be on the podcast? Come
surprise.
here. Yeah, you're happy. No, I can't go so far because I'm connected via the wires. Okay. Oh,
How did he get
the
there?
baby! He opened the door.
How did he get there?
Can you say something? Can you say Dada?
Hi, Peter.
Can you wave to Mr. Patrick? The last thing that
Hi,
I'll say
Peter.
is that you're 22 now. Maybe you're engaged when you're 23 and you have a year-long engagement. You're married at 24 and you don't have a kid until you're 25 or 26. So like think about yourself 4 years ago and how different you were, and think about what you'll be like 4 years from now. Yeah, you grabbed a microphone. And it's just like you have no way to know what you're going to be like because that's as much time difference as when you were 18. And I bet you're not the same as when you were
18.
18,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
All right, I've got to end the show because I've got the boy. You can't grab the microphone, buddy.
Leo's been doing that too. Yeah, he figured out how to open his bedroom door, and so all of a sudden I hear a knock on our bedroom door.
Yeah.
And it's fine because our living room is like baby proof and all that. And so he walks across the living room to our bedroom. And I hear a knock on the door, and I'm like, and I open the door, and Leo's like, hi. Anyway, great. Hey, if you thought that this episode is worth buying us a cup of coffee, why don't you go over patreon.com/thecrunch, support us for $10 a month. And as a thank you, we will give you over 40 bonus episodes we've recorded, including our 8-part virtual pilgrimage to the Holy Land that we recorded in places like the Sea of Galilee and Bethlehem and Jerusalem.
Nazareth.
Oh, he's giving the camera a little stink face.
What are you looking at his stink face for? He's being silly.
He's so cute.
He is very cute. Patrick, do you have anything else for the people? Yeah. Peter, you have something? Do you want to say anything?
Tune in next week when I take over the Catholic schools and make them great again.
Oh, thank you all for listening. Please pray for us. We'll be praying for you, and we'll see you all next week. Okay.
Love the Peter ASMR.
Yeah, perfect. Hi.
All right.
All right, man.
All right.